This is a short, true story about my personal experience with opioid addiction and how anesthesia-assisted opioid detoxification was the treatment that ended my 17-year struggle with opioids. Many years ago, I met a vampire named Opioid somniferum, whose milky tears she allowed me to drink. The haunting smell of hospital-grade chemicals is a smell that induces a panicky chill to wash over my entire body. As I stare at my reflection in the mirror, then back down at my little grinding bowl, a question shoots through my mind. Maybe I should crush my remaining hydromorph pills. After all, this is my last day as a vampire familiar. I carefully unscrew the outer gelatin casings of a few remaining capsules, dump them into my herb-style mortar, and proceed to crush the inner contents to a fine powder. I grab a writing pen, I remove the ink gel insert and place the empty pen straw up my left nostril. I place the other end of the straw into the crushed pharmaceutical powder, plug my right nostril, and snort like a pig. I want that powder to reach the back of my brain. Within seconds, I feel that all too familiar burn, and the medicated liquid drip starts to run down the back of my throat. This is how it always starts, and this process has become as natural to me as breathing. For almost 17 years I've performed this ritual. This ritualistic exercise has completely taken over my existence. I've become a slave to it. I've given up everything. Not because I wanted to, but because I have no choice. The sickness that is chasing me down keeps me locked in this nightmarish loop. I lift my head and I look at myself again in the mirror. It's not working. I want to dissolve, just like the opioid powder I just inhaled. I'm looking for an easy way out of this nightmare. I crush and sniff again and again until I hear a knock. It's my nurse. She's outside the bathroom door with my detox uniform. It's time. There's no more running. My soul is demanding the scales be balanced. The weight of my actions and past choices has accumulated, and the moment has arrived to face this reality. If I want my life back, I must embark on this journey within. I open the bathroom door and look down at the foot of the bed where I now stand. Laid out in front of me is one large adult diaper, an open-back hospital gown, and a sealed plastic bag containing a fresh pair of slipper socks. I strip naked and slowly pull on the reminder of how bad things are about to become. The adult nappy brings me to tears, and I start to sob like a child. I can't recall the last time I wore a diaper, but the weight of poorly made life choices hits hard when you're 41 and slowly slipping into a giant turd catcher. This sobering awareness cuts through any numbing effects from the narcotics I just ingested. A rush of coldness moves through me, causing millions of goosebumps to rise as I struggle into my open-back hospital gown. My nurse motions me to take a seat in her wheelchair, and I obey. She wheels me to the elevator, and together we ascend to the lowest level. These final moments in this hellish realm will be a somber, reflective ride. Opioid somniferum, known as the opium poppy, or, as I've come to think of her, the white vampire. I've never tasted the raw milky tears of this enchanting flower, but I have allowed her many synthetic and semi-synthetic alkaloids to flood my human temple. At first, there's a beautiful wave of pure ecstasy that washes away life's deepest worries, followed by a warm sleepiness that makes the big bad world disappear and no longer hurt. The path to opioid addiction quickly opens into a well-paved downward spiral. There are many vampiric spirits within the earthly realm, but this one is an angelic, motherly figure, a true paradox. She lets you sip from her intoxicating tonics briefly, offering much-needed relief and healing to many. However, if you exceed her interest-free healing trial, a new contract must be signed. Her promise? To purge your mind and body of all naturally occurring opioids. Once you sign your life away, her healing fangs vanish, replaced by backward-facing ones that sink deeper and deeper over the years until they reach your core. This is her inevitable destination, from which only a few escape. You might wonder, Why would anyone agree to such terms? Well, her journey to your core is pure bliss. Her venom teases every opioid receptor in your body, granting a lifetime's worth of pain relief to be enjoyed all at once. Over time, your body's natural opioid receptors cease to function. You become increasingly detached from yourself, plagued by restlessness and persistent irritability. The only relief comes from letting her activate those receptors repeatedly, day after day. Fail to indulge, and your body revolts in a hellish sickness. The glowing white vampire slowly transforms into a shadowy, faceless monster. The elevator doors open, and I stare down the long, antiquated basement hallway of the Pontiac General Hospital. My short, stocky nurse slowly wheels my chair over the metal threshold and into the barren echo chamber. The sharp smell of antiseptic cleansers awakens my olfactory senses, and I'm shaken from my reflective daydream. A terrifying dread consumes me, triggering my flight response. Panic floods my mind, my breathing becoming shallow and constricted. I feel myself breaking apart, and the vampiric spirit materializes before me. She speaks in frightening, futuristic visions, sending icy shivers through my blood as all warmth retreats from my extremities. She's a jealous lover, and despite my attempts to break free, she always brings me to my knees. I've surrendered to her demands countless times, and she only manifests like this when angry and afraid. She doesn't like losing, and I know I'm helpless dealing with her alone. That's why I've checked myself into a professional detox, a detox that promises to remove the deep embedded fangs of this cruel mistress. We reach the end of the hallway, and I'm wheeled through a doorway into what resembles an emergency room. The room is softly illuminated and eerily silent, with long, heavy white curtains hanging from metal tracks above each patient's bed. This is the sick room. My nurse guides me to my bed, and I tremble aboard the crunchy, waterproof life raft. This is where I will battle the sickness that comes from a fast removal of the vampiric fangs. I sink into the stiff hospital bed sheets, cold and shaking with fear. The intensifying moment causes my stomach to ache, sending rhythmic electric pulses through me. I try everything to calm the lightning storm in my guts, but my efforts only seem to exasperate it. Deep, slow breaths do little to pacify the dragon awakening within my belly.
He's waking up. Are you sure you want this? You know, he's the reason we met. You wanted to silence him, so I helped you bury him deep within. I showed you that I possess the power to put your terrifying demon to sleep. I kept my promise, and he has slumbered for many years, only stirring by your feeble attempts to sever our connection. But don't worry, I whispered your plan to the scaly devil. The idea was just crazy enough to stir a sleepy laughter out of him.
I lift my head in panic and pull back the makeshift curtain dividing me from another patient. I recognize him. We met the other day during the battery of tests all patients underwent to see if our hearts could withstand the upcoming stress. He appears to be sleeping peacefully, and, for a moment, I think, maybe this won't be so bad. I lay my head back on my pillow, but my attention is drawn to a loud commotion in the bed directly across from me. A nurse exclaims, "Another one has popped." What could that mean? I wonder. I sit up in bed, trying to get a better view, but the medical curtain surrounding the patient's bed blocks my sight. Then, I hear what sounds like gurgling vomit exit a body. I slump back into the bed, and waves of electric dread break over me again. Curling into a tight ball on my side, I pull my legs close to my belly and start rocking slowly. Feeling overwhelmed and utterly helpless, I whisper, "I can't do this." My doctor walks into the room and makes her way to the foot of my bed. I stare up at her like a wild animal trapped in a cage, overwhelmed by fear. I'm scared, I manage to say before she interrupts with the assurance that I've made the right decision and that everything will be okay. Her confidence strangely comforts me, filling me with a focused courage that drowns out the vampiric screams. Anesthesia-Assisted Rapid Opioid Detoxification. This is the procedure I've signed up for. Only a few places in the world offer this kind of detox, and luckily, one of them happens to be just a few hours from where I live. It's a fast, rip the Band-Aid off treatment. Dr. Julia Aronoff is my specialist, and she knows the vampire well. She's been freeing people from this life-sucking spirit for years, so I feel confident in my choice. My bed is wheeled through a hallway of uncertainty and into a sci-fi alien abduction-like room, complete with a large surgical light piercing down at me. This is the fang removal area. First, the doctor will administer the anesthesia, which will put my body into a deep sleep. Next, she will inject IV naloxone, the vampire slayer. This potent antidote will instantly induce withdrawal, but thanks to the anesthesia, I will be unconscious for the most painful part of this exorcism. My veins are connected to the detox machine, and my doctor says, "Here we go." I close my eyes and focus on the cool liquid moving through my left arm's vein, a sensation of icy water weaving its way through my bloodstream. I sit back in a pale blue lawn chair, and as I'm about to ask what is happening, I'm suddenly flooded with a lifetime of memories. In an instant, I realize where I am. I turn my head to my right, and I'm greeted by a familiar spirit, my high counsel. He instructs me to look to my left, and I'm reminded of what's happening. I see my body, back in the hospital, lying motionless and unconscious. Although I don't feel any physical pain, I'm overwhelmed by a heavy emotional weight that causes me to unravel. I have failed miserably, haven't I? I ask, filled with regret. Failed? Yes. But how many times did you fail at walking? How many times did you fall? This is similar. It's just a different kind of fall. You encountered a substance in your environment designed to hijack your reward system. You were drained from battling your beast of anxiety. Seeking relief, you turned to the outside world, hoping to soothe this supernatural force. You wanted to maintain one state of mind, and that's when you lost yourself. It became your life's mission to achieve this desired feeling. However, this was unnatural, and it drew the attention of a vampiric spirit. Her bite was superficial, yet the sensation of her pain-relieving euphoria lingered deep within your subconscious. Pleasing this newfound spirit slowly became your life's passion. You gave everything to her, and in doing so, fell out of alignment and we lost contact. You went dark. It took me a long time to reestablish our connection, but when I did, I knew exactly what you needed. You needed to confront your biggest fear, to feel your life force awakening within. You needed to feel that dragon. It was that very fear that brought you to me, and it was the dragon within that woke you up. Now, we sit here together, awaiting your body's renewal. You're going back in, and I know that you will face the discomforts of life head on, but remember, that pain will build a new foundation, one built on reflection and awareness. The next thing I remember is projectile vomit shooting straight into the air, and what goes up must come down. My face is coated in a thick layer of my own bile. The acidic stomach acid clings to the skin on my face and drips from my hair. I'm being reborn, and this is my baptism. My body is under relentless assault, and my insides feel like they're being ground up in a machine. Where am I? What's happening? Where the hell am I? I can't remember who I am or where I am. It's just the sensation of a grinder in my guts, followed by another wave of projectile vomit. Am I in hell? Am I dead? Then I hear a voice say, "Another one has popped," and I remember where I am for a fleeting moment. I'm drifting in and out of consciousness. My body is on fire, and I'm crying out in pain. If there's hell on earth, this is it. Next, the deep-seated nausea turns to my lower intestines, and the explosive diarrhea begins. I don't remember the last time I shit in a diaper, but I'll forever remember being 41 and giving that adult diaper a run for its money. After what feels like an eternity of relentless purging, the violent episodes begin to subside, and the intensity of my suffering gradually diminishes. My body, exhausted and trembling, starts to find a moment of relief. In the midst of this calming storm, a deep, resonant male voice breaks through the haze of my despair, declaring to the whole room of patients, like a captain at sea, "We're almost at the 24-hour mark. You will all soon have one full day of sobriety." As I lie there, submerged in my own vomit and shit, a flicker of awareness cuts through the fog of pain and fatigue, offering me a glimmer of hope. I've almost made it 24 hours.